this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, August 29th, 2022. I'm here for my weekly cross-stitching update, and yeah, it's kind of been a whirlwind week, but I have a decent amount to show, managed to get things done. And I'll show you what I'm working on this coming week, and then I'll be taking a brief hiatus from Flosstube, and then when I come back, I'll show you hopefully a whip parade. I did my last whip parade last September because it's a better time of year for me than the end of the year or summer. So fall whip parade for me. So second annual fall whip parade. So you can have that to look forward to. And Smokey's gonna be here taking a bath in the background while we talk cross stitching. So I don't think there's no haul or anything, so just jump right to travel stitching. And my temperature piece, Temperature Wander With Me, is the first one I show. And this is one, I also have a dog version, Temperature Walk With Me. They have little paws. And this is on 27 count Linda in Vintage Country Mocha. 1/1 full cross. And this was another one paw week, so I got one more paw. Each toe is a different color. Actually, every pad in there is a different color, which is opposite this one, which only had 2 colors represented. And I got that started on the little bluebird. I don't even think, yeah, my thread's still on my needle. So that's all I got done on that one. But it's coming along. This is going to curve around. It's going to get hot. This coming week is predicted to be at least 7 days straight of over 100 degrees. Probably the hottest chunk of the year. And it's like, come on, we're going into September. It's time to be over with all of that. But depending on which sources you look at, I may get up into the higher colors. Still probably, even on the sources that have the highest numbers, which is not the source I use, even those sources don't have it getting to my hottest color, which is 110 or more. It hasn't gotten that hot here in since I started making these. So next year for sure, I'm gonna lower my highest color to be 103, 105, somewhere in there, because I'm just not getting any higher and I wanna be able to use those colors. So that's my plan. My temperature butterflies I did get to work on. I had a little bit more time in doctor's offices this week. My daughter broke her arm, so I was in the doctor's office more. So I finished up May and started outlining June. This is the colors for 2002, so that's fun. I'm curious to see how much it is gradually getting warmer through each of these butterflies, so I'm curious how much more orangey yellow that next one will be. But yeah, she fell at school, has a hairline fracture in her elbow, so it's not going to take that long to heal, but it's very scary for Mama. No one in our family has had a cast before, so she's got a cast. It's the first one, and it's crazy. So here we are with Year in Stitches. I have been plugging away on this one. This is by the Victoria Sampler, and I finished the June block, and not really, well, I don't think I actually started the July block, but I did the borders to outline the July block. So I'm getting there. This one is, oh no, I did start a tiny bit on it. Not much though. So here is this one all together. This is 28 count Lugana. Here's the before and after. Just kidding. 28 count Dove Gray Monaco. It's thicker than Lugana. And this is the June block before and after. Got all the little specialty stitches, like the grasses put in and the lace and stuff like that, the leaves. So yeah, that's finished. And then I got the borders put in to go around July and even most of August. So next time it'll be a lot easier to start, because I'll only have one length of thread probably will close this gap. So then I have one more row at the bottom, but there's my, I did like 2 1.5 what are those, Smyrna crosses? Thread still on my needle. So that seemed to be the easiest thing to start with, because there's like a tree up here, and since I do this in the valet line while I'm waiting for my kids after school, I must have started this when I knew I didn't have a lot of time, so I figured, well, that's easy, I'll just do those. So, and I think I was gonna start, that same color is in the tree at the up here, the same dark green. So I think I had a one-stranded string on my bobbin that I pulled off. So I figured, well, I'll just use that first and get it out of the way, and then I'll go to the 2-strand one for the cross stitch. So yes, this is 2/2, if I didn't say that this time. So I think that's everything in that bag. I also worked on Under the Sea Club twice this week, which was nice to get a little bit more caught up. Still not caught up, but that's okay. We got the next release on Thursday. So here's the new updated version of the Under the Sea Club by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It's a year-long style. It did start in March, so it wasn't quite the whole year, but it's supposed to end in December. This release was the border starting from, yeah, I guess it includes these pearls and goes up all the way around to here. So the pearls are all sparkly thread, so that'll be fun. I'll use my silk lame that I chose for that, and I'm happy that it's only like 2 or 3 colors perhaps. I mean 3 if you count the pearl for sure, but the other colors, it looks like maybe two colors, possibly 3. But it'll be nice semi-monochromatic, you know, stitching for that, which is a nice change from all of these little motifs, which tend to change colors a little more frequently in order to get the detail. So it'll be nice to help get caught up, to have that, have the border be a little bit more plain. So that'll be nice. So it looks like from where this is grayed out, we may have a very similar border along the bottom. So I like that. I'm still in the part before. I still haven't finished that yet, but I've made some progress. So here is where I'm at with this one. This is 25 count, 1/1 full cross on this even weave, kind of a light medium blue color. And what did I work on? I think I started the pufferfish. I got the eyes in. I got pretty much the whole diver finished. I think she has, I still need to do the white in her mask. That's fabric showing through right now. So it'll look like her mask where there's white there. And so I've got to do that still. Finish off those fish, finish off the pufferfish, and then there's, I think, some bubbles. And then I can go ahead and work on the border. So there's still some stuff to do, but it's such a cute one. I enjoy that one. Getting to pull that out usually once a week for about an hour. It's not quite enough, but today it was, or this week it was more like 3 hours total with 2 different calls. I talked with my sister and I talked with Colette, the highway stitcher. She was not working on that one, but she is working on it normally, not during our call this time, but she appreciates it. So it's fun to be able to work on it with people who are also enjoying it. I think that's everything. Oh, Knitting Woman, I guess I can show you that one because it's like a bonus one. I did work on her a little bit, not as much as I'd wanted to, but I got 4 days on her. 2 of the days were less than 100 stitches, but it's fine. Every little bit counts. And I worked on some darker colors this time, so it really makes a difference to help things pop and to get, you know, a lot of stitches in a shorter amount of time. This is a golden kite piece. I am trying to finish this in by the end of October, beginning of November. So my thoughts are maybe in October, I'll focus on this one, like Whipco Project Knitting Woman, Whipco Project Knitting Woman every week practically. So I think that'll be just kind of, you know, focusing heavily on this one in October just to bust it out and get it done. That's my idea. So this is Knitting Woman on 22 count Aida, 2/1 half stitches. And as you can probably see, I did some dark colors here in the middle where what she's knitting on, and then also in the kitty cat. So that's fun. Only a total of 438 stitches this week, so not a ton, but like I said, every little bit counts. And I'll keep chipping away at it, hoping to get a little bit more done this week and see how that goes. It is fun having quite a few colors finished on this one. So that always makes you feel like you've done a lot when you see a lot of zeros along the side in Pattern Keeper, like there's no more of that color. I didn't finish any this time though. I think the ones I worked on were large colors, so I just did one string and called it good. Okay, my main projects this week were my last Whipco Fancy Lady for the month of August, which was Cottage Garden Fairy by Mirabilia. This one got the brunt of my busyness at the beginning of the week, and so I did a little bit on Friday to finish out my string, and overall it was about 2 hours for the whole week. So I think there's been worse amounts on Fancy Lady projects, but not great, but something. So here's this one. This is on Dappled Hollow 32 count Lugana by Under the Sea Fabrics. So it's really pretty. And here is where I got to. I did just skin. I want to keep working my way to the top. So it doesn't look like a whole lot right now. This is 2/2 for everything. And I had this here, which is part of her arm. And then this is cutting across her like bodice neckline here. And then this goes up to her face. That's her eyelid. And the edge of her face, her hair will be over here. And then the edge of her face will be here looking that way. So my plan next time I pull this out is just to keep working on her face, because I love to see their faces first, because then it just has a sense of serene, you know, I don't know, like I'm working on a lady. And so I like to finish their face first. This one has a lot of wings higher than her head, so I'll probably finish her face, do some hair, and then focus in on the wings before, you know, before doing what I like to do top down, completing it with, you know, beads and cryonic and everything. So it'll be a little while because I'm not probably gonna pull this out anymore this year, but next year. I am starting to plan next year already, and I'm super excited about my plans. I did some brainstorming with Colette the other day while we were chatting and stitching and seeing what sorts of things we wanted to work on. And I'm always torn because I have so many different projects. I counted them up afterwards and I have almost 100, which is a lot. There are some things that I know I'll finish this year, but I have at least 3 or 4 that I want to start, so that's not good. But I do have a plan to hopefully stitch on everything at least once next year. So let's see, the next thing I worked on was Tapestry by Ink Circles, and this was my first Arbitrary August pick for this week, and decent amount on this one actually. I felt pretty good this day about my progress. So here's where this one's at. This is on 28 count Ivory Jobelin, 1/1 full cross. And this time I started working on this motif, and this is the corner of the project. So that's exciting. I just completed all the little leaves and bits all the way over. So these ones right here are completed. And there's like this there's a diagonal one part of this motif that's just started, and then this will be mirrored down here to do that whole corner. So I didn't get the whole thing done, which I knew I wouldn't in one day, but for one day I'm pretty happy with that. So that's where that is. So that'll be the, you know, the whole, it's a decent sized piece. And lots of fun colors. I'm doing this with a Victorian motto conversion with the Eliza Bell Cox sampler threads. I believe it's charted in General Arts, but it does have DMC-ish equivalents. It even says DMC-ish. It's pretty funny because some of them are like highly variegated, so then you wouldn't get an exact DMC match. But let's see. Then my next Arbitrary August pick was Summer Floral Cross. I ended up picking all 4 of these within Arbitrary August, which is fun. None of them got left out, which is good. They all got some attention. So this one is on white 14 count Aida. And I saw there were some strawberries there at the top, so I thought that'd be fun to work on some strawberries. So that's what I did. And then I got the strawberries completely cross-stitched along with some little French knots and went in and started in on some sticks as well. So not a ton of progress, but still some. This is 14 count with 2 strands. And yeah, so I did the 2 strawberries. They'll have backstitched like leaves at the top, but I won't do that yet until I get more of this other stuff stitched. So little progress. And then my last Arbitrary August piece was the Winter Cross, which is this one. This one's more full than the other ones because the background is holly instead of sticks. But I had a decent amount of holly leaves started up here already before this rotation. So I went ahead and added some holly berries and just some more leaves after that. So this is the light green 14 count Aida. Both of them were kit fabric. And again, 2 strands, which is what the kits call for. You can find all these crosses on the Cooler Design Studio website as PDF or print copies, as well as Everything Cross Stitch, I believe, has print copies. And yeah, so a good amount. They're probably getting close to where I could start backstitching. But since I'm using the kit threads as they come off, I think they're 1 yard lengths or something. So if I'm using a single strand for the backstitching, it's long. So I want to try to get a nice big area to backstitch before I work on that. So I don't have to start and stop. So I'm waiting a little bit too, because that top stuff will probably have a couple different colors of backstitching. It won't all be the same color. So I'm waiting a little bit on the backstitching. So that was fun. And then I worked on Sampler of Stitches on Sunday for 1 hour. I did not get this out any other time, so I am an hour behind on my daily 30 year-long challenge, the Animal Adventures. I'm supposed to have another project, another hour on this. I'm not sure I'm gonna make it before the end of the year, before the end of the month, I mean, but that's all right. I think I missed one other month. I didn't finish one. It's the way it goes. So this is the one I'm working on now. I'm working on N. Managed to finish this whole motif, which took a long time. Each length of the stitch is done twice, so it really took a while. And then I just got started on the N. I'm actually going to count the remaining stitches in the N, and it might actually be 100 stitches or less, or more. So, because this is pretty thick right here. If this is at least 100 stitches, I think I'll go ahead and try to finish that up real quick and post that as my last like animal adventure thing for the daily 30 group. And we'll see. Because normally I do time on things like this, but I thought, you know what? I think I could get the rest of that end stitched in less than an hour. So if it's 100 stitches, then let's do it. So here we go. This is on the called for 30 count custard cream linen, 1/2, so it's very light coverage, and all the called for NPIs. I worked in here on the N, so you can see this big motif is like a pulled thread, a net filling stitch, I think is what it's called. Took a little while because it was, each leg had to be done twice to help it pull properly. And then I went over and started the N. But yeah, most of that thick middle part of the N is still yet to be stitched, so possibly I could get my 100 stitch chunk just by finishing the N. So we'll see. I might do that. Next year, I don't think I'll be doing that challenge because I want to I don't think I'll be doing WIPGO either. I feel like I want to have a little bit more control over what I work on every month. So I probably won't be doing any events like Facebook groups, except for something, if it's like Stitch Into the Wild. Loved that group this year. So if they continue and do another year's worth of challenges next year, I'll probably do that one, because that one has been really nice, where it has, let's see, 14 challenges, all with a fairly small goal, and then you have the whole month to do it. And I like that you can plan it out at the beginning of the month, pick from a variety of projects that you're already planning to work on, and you don't have to stitch a million stitches to get it done. It's just at least 100 or an hour on everything. And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna do that. So that's really nice. I don't have to stress about trying to get it done. So if that group continues, that's hosted by Laura X Stitches and Adele, both over in Australia. And so if they do something again next year, I'm definitely on board if it's the same format. But everything else, I don't think I'm going to be doing much else, because I don't want to be confined into which projects I do, and especially this one, the daily 30 one, where it's the same 3 projects until you finish something. I don't want to be chained to that. I want to be able to switch things out, and I probably won't have any focus pieces next year, except for these, which are my letter fairies for my nieces. I was thinking I'll make these my bonus stitching throughout the year, because they do need to get worked on regularly, but they're so small. I think I could probably finish them fairly consistently if I work on them just like a length of thread a day as a bonus piece. So I'll be pulling this out. I still have one more WIPGO piece that I'll be working on starting today, but since I was talking about it, I'll show this one first. But this one I'll be working on starting at the beginning of September here on Thursday. So Thursday, I'll give this a few days, just because it's been neglected the last few months, and I feel like I need to get back to it. This one I need to get done by May this coming year, but then after that I have 2 that I need for the following May. So I want to keep up some momentum and not let these go. So as soon as Knitting Woman is done, that has been my current bonus piece. If I have extra time in the afternoon, I'll do a little bit on that. When that's done this calendar year, I think I'll focus that bonus stitching time on Under the Sea Club or the sampler of stitches to try to get those done by the end of the year. But then next year I'll have these fairies, I think, be my bonus piece. That's kind of my plan. So my fairy right now is right here. This is done on the called for Water Lily Linen by Wichita, 32 count, 2/2 full cross. The little lady is done except for her beads, and I finished her wing and then was able to carry this over so I can work on these branches first. It looks like there's lots of beads up here, so maybe this week I can finish these leaves and then do some beading. That'd be fun. If I'm not in the mood for beading, I'll just keep going down and work on the stitching in the F. Sometimes I have to kind of be like in the mood for beading, because I don't want to have to, if I don't have a lot of time, I don't want to try to be rushing or spilling beads or have to get up and, sit down and back up if I'm, in the middle of something. So it might depend on how things go this week, if I'll do stitching or beading or both. So that's that one. And my last Whipco project for August is La Soiree. And this is another golden kite one. This is the medium version. They have a small one that I thought took away too much detail for me, and then a bigger version, which was unnecessarily large, in my opinion. I also don't need that much background, so I've taken off a whole page of the top, and I believe a whole page over here. So I'm up here in the wallpaper. Well, I've taken off a page, so I've done this part, and I think page 2 of my current page 2 will have her head in it. So I'm like over here. And I don't know how close I am to her head, but let's pull it out and find out. So I don't remember what this looks like. I think I've stitched in all my park threads. So let's see what I have to work with here. Nope, still got part threads. Man, I was hoping I had those done. Wow, okay. So this is on Congress cloth, and as you can see, since you can see through it, there's some stitches all the way down there. So this is a canvas, so it is fairly stiff and see-through, but I do love it for half stitch full coverage because it holds its shape and won't warp as much at all. So it's really great for that. And this is really awkward, so I'm sorry. There we go, that's a little better. So this is where I've got to so far. This is 2/1 half stitches on the 24 count ivory Congress cloth. Let's see if I can get a decent before picture. The roll is not helping down here. I guess that's pretty good. I've got some stitches you can see coming out here, and then some down here, because as I am working in these parked threads, I'm going where it takes me within reason. And obviously this is kind of crazy, but I felt like comfortable enough counting, I guess. So I think the lady's head is over here, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe, I don't know. This is the whole first page, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, but this is kind of like, this is the wallpaper, and this is like a molding, this twisty molding right there. So it's kind of cool to see it come together and see the textures and stuff. Ah, sorry, I bumped you. Sorry, that was really awkward to show. But yeah, I guess I'll be working in parked threads. I kind of had hoped that I'd already finished that, but I guess I had not. So parked threads it will be, which I finished on Birdsong, so it'll be really nice to get those finished. Be able to move forward with a fresh slate next time. Because I'm really, with pattern paper, I feel I'm not as interested in parking anymore. And even with Hidden Harbor, which is one I want to start sometime this year, I haven't decided when. I'll show that if I can find it. I got this recently. I really want to work on this, and I was considering doing the new Royal Rose method, but that involves parking, and part of me wants to try it just because, but another part of me thinks I probably won't like it just because I've tried a variety of parking methods and most of them I'm not really a fan of, and the way that it's a method coined by Royal Stitcher here on Flosstube. The way she finishes to the right uses a sort of waist knot situation, which I don't need because I stitch in hand, so I can easily find my back. I feel like waist knots are good for people who stitch on a frame because it's hard to flip it back and forth. And it's fine for that style, but I don't need that. So I don't know that it's necessarily a good fit for my stitching style either. So I may just start that one regularly and just go with it, do my regular method. I might do what I've been doing on my last montage starts, where I do the typewriter method of picking symbols in the whole first 10 by 10 block instead of straight across the row like I'm doing on some pieces like the African woman with peonies. That one I'm just picking all the way across the top. But I have enjoyed on those montage pieces where I pick my symbols in the first 10 by 10 block and stitch them wherever they go from there and then move to the next block, because then I see some completion as I go. And I think I might do that method on Hidden Harbor because that really kind of clicks with me. Speaking of the montages, I'm kind of spearheaded along with Kat. Where is it? Stitching these montage designs by Janet Stever, charted by Pain Free Crafts. We have been starting these every, like around the first of their season, every time. I did start the winter one in January, February, I can't remember now, because I was, I'm usually really busy with my Etsy shop in December, so I didn't want to start it in December. There are some people who are tagging along with the Stitch Along, or the Start Along, who will be starting their winter one this December. Mine's already started. I have decided to push this to the first weekend in October because it just wouldn't really work for the first week, the first day of fall, which is in the Northern Hemisphere, which is, I think, the 22nd maybe of September. So I'm gonna start it instead. If you're interested in starting it with me, I'll be starting it on October 6th and doing 6, 7, and 8. And Colette the Highway Stitcher is going to start hers then too. I do know what I saw in her last video, Carolyn Seazook Stitch. She will be starting hers in September. So if you would like to start it on the first day of fall or somewhere in September, that's totally fine. It's flexible. September or October, these colors will be great no matter what. So I would be starting up here, and this is probably the most boring part of the design, but that's all right. Like the oranges and the apples and all the things are more exciting, but it'll all be pretty, and I'm excited to start that later in October. Maybe November I can start Hidden Harbor, because then ideally, Lord willing, I will finish Netting Woman, and then I can celebrate that finish with Hidden Harbor. How does that sound? I like that. Yeah, so I think that's everything. I'll share, I guess I could share just the cover pages. The WIPGO numbers for September were called by Jessie Marie, and I thought it was funny. Both of my full coverages are the 2 stitching. They have stitching in the name, both called this week or this month. So I thought that was pretty funny. So the first one was Stitcher's Retreat, which I'm doing a crop of. Used to be a freebie on the site. And then Stitching Shelf, which a lot of people worked on in August for World Cross Stitch Day. So I'll get to pull those out later this month. And my Fancy Lady calls were Halloween Fairy and Ashley's Roses. So those were both fun. Halloween Fairy would have been really fun, extra fun to be in October, you know, because of Halloween. But it's still fall colors, so it'll be nice to do that in September and not like in March or something. So anyways, that's what I'll be working on later in the month. Meanwhile, I hope you have a wonderful start of September and enjoy what you're working on. I'll be back in a few weeks, and I will look forward to seeing you then. Happy stitching. Bye.